Welcome back to day 2 here at the MLG COD Season 3 playoffs. Maven here, joined by Fwiz. But is this casting together 2 days in a row?
Oh, man, it doesn't get any better than that.
All right, so we are going to have Team Envious versus OpTic Nation.
Yes.
We did the NV match last night. It's hard to argue. They haven't looked like the strongest teams. Yeah, my tie's all over the place, too. Let's make sure we look
We got to look good for the fans, you know?
Have to, absolutely.
Woo,
But,
yeah.
Big matchup, OpTic Nation, which going into this, they were pretty disappointing at Nashville. So
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what to expect. They stepped up yesterday in that crazy Game 5 versus FaZe. Envy made it look a little bit easier, but here we are. This is a big matchup. The winner of this one looking very good to possibly take the whole thing.
Absolutely. I think, look, the thing with Envy is they just, once all four players are firing on all cylinders, they're like an insane team.
Exactly.
So that's really all they got to do. They just got to get that rhythm. Yesterday, Formal was kind of like leading the charge. You had Nameless come up, JCap, even Merc, but it was never all 4 of them at the same time. Once they do, I mean, that team is so scary. There's a reason that we talk about how they're the only team with all positive KDs at LAN. So I think that's really the only recipe for Envy. With FaZe out of it, too, kind of a shocker. I mean,
well, 1st to 8th.
Yeah, boys in blue are looking pretty good, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we do have, again, the first time ever for MLG, we have the analysis desk. We're going to throw it down to Puckett, Sensor, and Crim6 for your map selection.
Oh, it's nothing new, Maven. We're just talking at a different desk on Puckett here with Sensor and Crim. Guys, we have an epic match here. Envy versus OpTic Nation. Nation gave you guys a run last night. Sensor, what did they do in that Game 5? How did Nation take you out? What do they need to do to beat Envy here on day 2?
Well, Nation made a miraculous comeback. They were obviously down 2-5. It's not easy to make a comeback. They won 4 straight rounds to knock us into the losers bracket, and they blind countered us, Puckett. No one really played bad. No one didn't do anything wrong. Just every time we pushed a bomb, they were at that bomb, and they had a blind counter to beat us.
Crim, can this OpTic Nation squad, looking at the KDs and how these two teams stack up, can OpTic Nation beat Envy in the respawn game modes?
You know what? I think they can. They played extremely well versus FaZe, and it was a comeback, but I felt the whole entire time in that series that OpTic Nation was always in it. They were always in the fight, and I think that, OpTic Nation, they're carrying a lot of momentum going into this series, and I think that, they do have the possibility of beating Envious.
And that's the important thing too, Puckett. A team morale, a team victory like that is what's going to set you over the top. Envy's obviously a great team. They proved it time in and time again. But OpTic Nation had a very good team morale win, making that comeback against us. They're just clicking on all cylinders, and I'm expecting them to come out, but I still think Envy's going to win this match.
Looks like Nation still discussing what maps they want to veto before getting out there. Merc already said that Envy is going to get rid of S&D Sovereign. So if you're Nation here, you got to pick one S&D, one Dom, and one Blitz. What S&D do you think Nation wants to avoid playing Envy in?
I'm about 99.9% sure that OpTic Nation is going to end up vetoing S&D on Freight. I've heard countless times that they do not like Freight Search and Destroy, and I see them smiling right now. They're probably going to change their mind. They vetoed S&D Octane. See that? Yeah, they probably heard what I said, and they changed their mind at the last second. So that's really interesting. I really thought that they were good at S&D Octane, but Blitz Warhawk, that's interesting as well. I don't know. I haven't played OpTic Nation on Blitz Warhawk at all, so I don't know anything about that map when it comes to them.
Blitz Octane is the choice here for Envy. So no Octane for S&D and Blitz. We'll see if it makes it in to the Domination game modes. Haven't seen too much of it so far this weekend. And it looks like the next pick is going to be going here to Envy, and they will pick Dom Sovereign. So we're going to see Octane in the map pool. Final choice here comes from OpTic Nation, and Killa stroking the beard, trying to think this one through.
Now, this is surprising to me because I feel that OpTic Nation is a very strong Domination Octane team. That's probably our best map, and they ended up playing us on that map and beating us to make the comeback, and they just vetoed that.
Yeah.
I think that that's actually a smart play.
Why's that?
Envy's just like Formal with the sub on that map. He shuts it down. And, Merc's always hopping on flags. Nameless and JCap, they're solid ARs, but Formal on Dom Octane is just a scary side.
So here's the interesting thing, though. OpTic Nation vetoed Strike Zone Domination against us, and now they're vetoing Domination Octane. So it seems like Nation's trying to veto the other team's worst maps instead of playing the maps that they're best at. I don't know if that has to do with the confidence or a strategy, but we're about to find out in the series.
I was totally expecting Nation to veto Dom Freight. I mean, if you've seen this Envy squad on this map, they can be ruthless, and it looks like Envy is going to make sure that Freight is game number 1. Strike Zone will be game number 4, the second Domination in the best of 5. Now it's time to see the S&D order. We're going to see another Warhawk at game number 2.
Oh, man. I'm expecting a slaughter. I think Envy's going to win this map by 75 points.
75 points in game
75 points. They're going to slaughter them. OpTic Nation is not good on this map.
Doug has no faith in the nation.
They went 3-16 in this map in the league. Let's just be honest here. Envy is a great Domination for 8 team. OpTic Nation isn't. So we're going to see what happens. I don't know. OpTic Nation is on something else right now. Let's see what they pull out of their sleeves.
All right, Krim, after looking at the final map pool, Dom Freight,
Yep.
S&D Warhawk, Blitz Freight, Dom Strike Zone, S&D Freight. What's Krimbot's thoughts here? Who's taking this
Envy's
series? What's
taking
the
the
score?
series, I think. I think the S&D Warhawk, you know, I think OpTic Nation's probably going to take that. But looking at maps 1, 3, and 4, those are Envy. I know for a fact Envy's really good on those maps. But, however, Killa does have the smoke strategy on Freight Blitz. He smokes mid-alley, and you don't know what to do when he does that. You don't know where he's going.
Why is there a smoke and blitz? This makes no sense.
Because Killa's on the map. That's why there's a
There it
smoke and
is.
blitz. So, yes, I think OpTic, you know,
man.
OpTic Nation, they're going to have a chance of winning this series, but after looking at these maps, Envy's taking it.
See, I'm
Calling
looking
it
at
3-1
this.
or 3-0?
I'm going to say 3-1. 3-1, yeah.
Doug?
You know, it's either going to be a 3-0 or a 3-1, and if it goes to the last map, Envy's going to win it. OpTic Nation is not good at Freight Domination and Search and Destroy. I don't know what was going through their mind when they did those vetoes.
Interesting vetoes. Maybe they know something we don't. Guys, we're going to send it back up to you to kick off game number 1.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, Krim, future as a comedian, censor, possibly as an Abercrombie model, but great stuff from them as we went through the map selection. But we are going to look at the key player matchup here. We'll talk a bit about these guys, Formal
There's
and
your
Ricky.
boyfriend.
Now, we talked yesterday.
Yes.
We might have said Formal 100 times during that series.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, mostly me, but he was crushing.
Yeah, he
probably
was,
had
he
the
was.
best series of anyone so far, other than maybe Miracles in that first one, putting up big numbers. Look at 1.25 overall, 1.45 in Dom, and I think it comes down to the Doms here. You can look across the stats there. 0.85 in Dom for Ricky, 0.994 overall, but
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty ineffective. You can't even make Ricky as an OBJ argument when he plays against Envy here. I mean, and I do want to call out from a stats perspective, it's just when these two teams play against one another, not overall.
Yeah.
So Ricky hasn't, historically played that well against Envy in the Season 3 online matches. Now, look, they're online stats. I mean, things happen differently at a LAN, so you kind of have to take it for a grain of salt, but it gives you a good idea. And clearly, Formal at 1.45, Dom KD shows his presence there, allowing his team to be able to get caps. Now, Dom Freight looks like that's going to be, all things considered, it should be an Envy map. But really, I think what's going to be interesting will be the S&D Warhawk game number 2. If that's something OpTic Nation's going to need to take away from Envy. I mean, they're going to have to win that S&D game, try to pull out a blitz, push a game 5 where they can play better at an S&D. If not, I agree with the guys downstairs. It's the Envy show,
well, what's crazy is, we talked before, I think it was something like they went 2-7 in Nashville in Dominations for O, and they've just been struggling. Krim said he talked to the players, and they just couldn't figure out what they were doing wrong in Dom. But then yesterday they come in, take them both from FaZe. I'm like, all right, well, maybe they're bringing their Dom game to this event. But after FaZe finishes 8th, how much can we actually take from that?
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point. And even then, that was that whole series was pretty crazy. I mean, you went into that game 5 and it was 5-2. FaZe was looking to close it out, and then all of a sudden OpTic Nation won 4 straight. So I would never count out that OpTic Nation squad. But it is a valid point to say now that FaZe finished 8th, you don't know really how well they were even playing at this event. So it's not a good stacking up to it. So.
Well, I saw Fizzerp. He tweeted out, him and Killa have a relationship.
They're the best
back
S&D
and forth.
players,
And he said OpTic Nation can win this event. And
I saw that yesterday. Yeah.
So a lot's going to come down to this. Obviously, we're still on the winner's side of things. You're not going home if you lose this one, but we're going to be able to take a lot from this series as far as how, who I think is my favorite to win this one. If we get the envy of G3 or the envy of Dallas that was looking so dominant outside against playing Denial, I think they can take this one 3-1. Like we've all kind of agreed on.
Look, they are the star-studded team. I mean, on paper, Envy is the best, right? So all they have to do is kind of live up to that. From a stat perspective, they look the strongest. So we'll see how it goes. OpTic Nation, though, can never count them out. They're ready to roll there. There's Money B. They're fired up.
And Money B is he is the one that needs to step up. He took a lot of flack on social media from his teammates and everything for his event in Nashville. He just didn't have a very good event. And on the other side, Nameless and Envy, they didn't finish well either. And that was more, J-Cap took a little flack. He didn't have a great event at Nashville either. That is what we've learned in Call of Duty Go. Since the fall of EG, it's what team shows up and all 4 players are being consistent. I mean, we've had, 5 different winners?
Yeah, with the Vector, like that kind of changed the dynamic of the game. I think there's a valid point. A lot of us talk about how the meta, got switched at that point, and it's allowed for a lot of different teams to shuffle around in that first place.
Yeah.
You haven't seen anybody kind of look, I mean, UMG, you had FaZe, they won it, and then they come here a couple weeks later and they finish 8th, you know. So with that in mind, as a team, you know, you can, like, it's anybody's game here, you know, like, you can win. So if you can go in with that confidence, who knows? All of our brackets could be turned upside down.
They all have been.
They all have been. Yeah, who am I kidding? Yeah, they have been turned upside down.
Yeah, at this point, everything all over the place. But nice shot at Nameless here as he's getting fired up. And I love to get those booth shots. That's one of my favorite things when we're casting, especially after the game, when you see kind of that energy level afterwards. And here we're going to see the stats for Killa.
Look at that. I love Killa's profile pic.
Chewbacca.
I'm gonna set that as my profile picture. Look at him.
He's so happy. Oh, he looks angry, though. The
No,
picture
he looks
happy.
I was going to say, he looks real
Determined.
mad, man.
But you see the 21.8.
Hey,
respawn.
Killa.
These stats, these again are online. But what's funny is recently, actually, he's like been their main slayer in these respawns. He's been showing up. He had, I think, a 35 or 38 bomb in Nashville, and those aren't typically numbers you see from him in respawns.
No, not at all, because he's averaging 21 online too.
Yeah, he's been putting up big numbers, and that we thought maybe some of the things they were dealing with in Nashville was the fact that the team dynamic was a little bit wonky because of the roles people were playing. But we will have to see how it plays out. We're all predicting 3-1s right now for Envy, but it's going to come down to who shows up, who's the most consistent. But in my opinion, if OpTic Nation has any chance in this series, they have got to take that game to S&D.
Yeah, I think if they win Game 2 S&D and they're able to pull out that blitz, it's done deal. Because I don't think that they would win Game 4 Dom Strike Zone. I think Envy would take that back. But I feel pretty confident in OpTic Nation's Search and Destroy game that if it went to S&D Freight, that they would be able to pull something out. And there's JCap. He's a phenomenal player. He's been around for a while. This is a good squad. We keep talking about it. I'm ready to see how they show up. And again, it goes back to all 4 of those players being consistent.
Yeah, you know, part of it, they have a team house. Not everyone there. I believe Merc is the one that isn't, but it helps, you know. And again, it's online, so the KDs, when you have 3 of them living together, playing on the host, it
yeah, the
certainly
numbers
helps,
are skewed for sure.
But they also on LAN put up ridiculous numbers as well. All of them can slay. When you're talking on paper, the most talented team, it's hard to argue it's not Envy, despite the fact they didn't have the best result in Nashville. They got 2nd in Dallas. It's a star-studded lineup.
Yeah, so I always thought, you know, EG obviously played that level, but when you had Karma on that EG team, I felt like that was on paper, and they were obviously performing accordingly to that. Now that team has, you know, with Karma going to FaZe and Dito coming in there, I feel like Envy has been the team that really is on paper the best squad. So we'll see if they're able to live up to that and kind of come through here. And there you have it. I told Miracles, I'm like, you've got to rock an Old Men of OpTic shirt. And when you're in the Pro Player Lounge hanging out. And by the way,
I'm drafted in. I'm incredibly old.
Yeah, you're about due for it. Yeah, you're about due for it, man.
I don't know if Curse will allow me to wear green shirts.
No, they might not. I don't know. Hex might kick you out, man. I don't know if you can be balding and in there as well. Everyone's got a good head of hair in Umu, man.
All right, that's I'm going to work on that.
Yeah.
Some Bosley.
Yep, whatever it takes, man. I'll donate some hair plugs for
Thank you.
So you'll have some
that'd be
blonde hair
fantastic.
as well. Yeah,
fantastic.
Hey, man, wherever I can help.
I'd be incredibly handsome with that full head of luscious, dirty blonde hair. But here we are loading into Domination
Good
Freight.
thing the game's ready now. You're making me blush.
But Miracles, we're still highlighting him here. The one thing to point out from yesterday, he was pretty much the man of the day. When you're looking at Friday for him. But game number 1, you're looking at it, Domination Freight. Ricky leads the team with Dom Caps. We talked about how he's been playing a bit of that objective role. You saw the slaying, not quite up to snuff. And leader, we're looking at 358 total caps this season.
Let's see how this thing starts off. Everybody has been kind of favoring Envy to pull this one out. So who do you want to start off with on the Envy side?
Let's go with Merc. Merc, team leader.
I'm with it.
He's been on so many top teams in the scene for so long. Let's see how he can kick things off. All right, we're getting in. Final countdown coming. 5 seconds left on the clock. Let's see who's going to take game number 1.
And kicking things off here, we're ready to roll OpTic Nation versus Envy, and it's going to be Merc that's going to be pushing out. He's got one of his teammates hanging out here to get the home flags in. The battle for B has begun, Maven.
Yeah, he's going to be the first one there. Oh, he's going to push through the lumber. He's able to get that first blood, but he will eventually drop. Nameless.
I don't know about that,
a lot
Nameless.
of times you'll see the AR kind of off the break, not usually used throughout the game unless you have the 2-cap control. But he's playing kind of a defensive role here to work on B. You have Merc in front of him pushing that right side. Now you see a player there via the Oracle mode just on the other side. He may get eyes on him in just a second. Nice little switch there, able to pick up that kill. We'll see if he continues. He is actually going to push up. You see 2 players through the train here on the right side, but he's going to get flanked there at white.
Yeah, and OpTic Nation actually a decent setup here. They're going to have to acknowledge Formal, who can do some damage. He does pick up one, has to reload, it gets taken out, but they were able to knock a couple players down from Envy to be able to set up, and now you've got Embos that is on B. If they can just win some of these gunfights, they can pull it out, and not going to happen. But they're not done yet. I mean, they still have a decent setup as you have a player that is behind enemy lines is going to be causing a disruption to this Envy squad.
Yeah, and Merc also got in behind, but he's going to catch the nade basically as soon as he gets in a position.
That was JCap, though. His own teamate killed him.
Thanks, JCap, because he was in a spot to
he was set up.
And Formal here, second level, going to be able to pick up one. Going to rotate back towards B. No one able to put pressure on the home cap. Yeah, actually, I'm going to switch over. Whoop player. We do have one pushing towards A. That's going to be Ricky. Did get through. He's going to get pushed in a second here. Not looking at the right side, unfortunately, for him. Did he get the neutral? No, he will get stopped. But Miracle's going to be the last one alive. He's going to have to play some defense here on B. As the rest of his team is coming off spawn. You see them all popping up. This is going to be a huge kill. That's a big one. Gives his team time to get up and come help him. He delayed long enough, though, that Envy was not able to get B. Nameless picks one over the shoulder of Formal.
He's got Formal there, too. They're going to get this.
They should have it. Finally, B control will go to Envy Run.
Nice pickup as Merc was able to jump on it. Formal did get taken out, but Nameless moved up, so they capped it together. And now just have to hold on to this. Only a 3-point lead for Envy as B has been kind of back and forth, but they are well set up here. And now they just got to win some of these gunfights, one at a time.
Yeah, that was kind of a delayed 4 down there for OpTic Nation, so full map control going to go to Envy. Nameless picks one more up right side. You saw to his left there was one pushing Lumber, another in front of him here inside of red, and he will lose that gunfight. Going to switch over to Merc. He's kind of watching him fire to see if anyone's going to be coming down this mid lane to put pressure on B, but look at the mini-map here. You see everyone trying to push through. They're going for A. I like this job by them to get pressure. I'm going to switch just to see if Miracle is able to get a flip here. He's at least one player.
Should be able to get a neutral. Nobody's there.
At least nobody's there at all. So
yeah, he'll be able to get this, and there's set up on C as well, so it's Nameless back. Who's back here on C?
They have a player really far in the back. That's going to be Miracles. That's going to have to play a little defense. He should get the call, so he should see that the flag.
So Envy's going to go ahead and get back C there as they're able to pick that one up. Killa coming back out here. And OpTic Nation set up to get this if they can hold it down, but no, Envy doing a great job clearing out a couple members. That's going to be 3 players down for OpTic Nation as Embos is going to get taken out from JCap. JCap, he had just 2 kills not too long ago. Now he's 7-7, so he's warming up. He had a very slow start for the first 2.5 minutes. Now coming alive a little bit.
Well, we can talk about the KDs. Just look across Envy right now. Everyone either even or positive outside of JCap. He's only -1. They're getting the slaying done. They've got a 12-point lead with just under 2 to play. We'll hop on with Formal for a little bit. He's got Merc in front. He's not going to be able to take out that guy from here. Merc, I think, was trying to put the pressure through crates. He's going to drop as well. 2 down right now for Envy. Miracles here. He's going to be playing kind of this mid-red lane, trying to get some pressure for players coming out of C, but he will eventually drop. Now, 2 caps still in the favor of Envy. Lead starting to increase bit by bit. Nothing insurmountable. But we talk about as casters, when you get to that 20-point lead on these small maps, it can be tough to overcome, but there they get beat.
There it is. So 59-42. Ricky going to hold it down here, see if anybody pushes. They're going to kind of hold on to this setup. He pushes up, gets taken out. Formal picks up a 2-piece, so that's going to be Ricky and Killa down for Nation. Miracles is going to get taken out by JCap. So back and forth these 2 teams are going, and 3 Envy players are right there.
And they're going to get away.
Yeah,
a lot of times it's risky, though, when you get B with 3. Sometimes those nades fly in.
The trophy system came out, thankfully. But the next thing you know, Semtex comes in and the party's over real quick.
You're 3 down, and it gets flipped really fast, but they're able to get it there. 50 seconds left. They still have control. The lead continues to increase. Nameless gets 1. He's going to try and peek right, not able to take out that player. 1 down for either side. Merc in a similar spot gets the assist. There's 1 more he saw wrapping gateside. They're going to know he got through. What player is that? That's going to be Miracles, who's in a good position to neutral C. You see 1 player coming back that's going to have to try and deal with that. We'll watch this engagement here. The gunfight is going to be lost. It was close.
Yeah, I thought he might have got the stick there. And Ricky hanging out. He's going to try to solo cap this one. He's got a player right in front of him. He's going to get that kill. Picks up another, taking out both JCap and Nameless, and he almost solo capped that.
Yeah.
He didn't neutralize it, but Membos comes in with a nice nade and another kill on Formal. And now OpTic Nation's going to try to pull this one out. They've got 2 players on it. Now it's going to be 3, so they should be able to get the cap, and they do. Nice pickup by them. 84-61 is going to be your final score in the first half. So
too little, too late, though. You know, they got 3 down. They were able to get B, but I think it was like 4 seconds when the cap actually went through, so not even really going to get points for that. But they might have been able to delay at least 1 more tick there from Envy. But when we look at the first side, I mean, mostly for me, it came down to slaying. But when you look at it, not really. What are they? Maybe 4 kill difference between the 2 sides.
It's not a huge discrepancy. I mean, you look at Merc, he's doing a little bit more, weight than some of the other players, but only, minimal, a couple of kills there. So it's been just more them being at the right place at the right time and then being able to hold it. So 23 points is certainly manageable, especially if OpTic Nation can come out off the get-go and just start doing something here. So Formal playing back here. He's going to get taken out by Embo, switching over to Nameless. And he's going to have a good spot here with that AR if he can get some kills and make it happen. He was trying to get a wall bang there. Now he's to retreat, but he does get some help from JCap down below. And they've got a good setup. They don't need to really rush B.
Exactly.
They just need to keep Nation off of it. I mean, I like how they're playing this one.
I was just going to say, like, where he is, Nameless, that won't work maybe mid-game once everyone has caps. But when B is neutral like that and you have a big lead, you can sit there. Get those iron boots on, pick up kills, make sure you keep them off. But Killa and crew here trying to get the first. They do get B. That's big. They needed to try and get that. But we talked about how dangerous it can be to have multiple players on it when the nades come in. They are going to drop. They only have one up. That's the tricky part. We'll see if Miracles, he's going to have huge plays to try and keep them off of B. But no one on Envy with that 3 down really tried to make any plays towards B, so it is going to stay in the hands right now of OpTic. But who is it? It's Formal that was on it, not able to flip it. Nameless last alive right now, but this is a great play by him.
Nice.
Pushes their home cap, working the neutral. He actually has time to get the whole thing.
And he's actually drawing all 3 players back to A too. So not even that they're communicating that someone's going to handle it. It's going to take two more players from OpTic Nation.
And he gets away.
And he's out. So now he's going to go. I wonder he's going to wait to let them get it, but get off some of these kills there. Not going to be able to do that. So that was a tough break. If he could get some of those kills, it would have allowed Merc a little bit more time, who ultimately just got taken out there. So OpTic Nation doing a good job kind of just chiseling away at Envy's lead here, coming back into this.
Well, we're going to watch Bose. He's weak now. We're a player that said really need to step it up after the Nashville event. We'll see what he can get done right now. He's got a player to his right. We'll get this engagement. Not able to win that gunfight. Merc is going to turn on him there. Just over 3 to play. The lead is down to 15. So ON doing a good job of climbing back in this a bit. They still have AB control. Merc going to drop as well. JCap was last alive. He was on B. So that's going to be a kind of another delayed 4 down. For OpTic Nation, great job controlling the map there. We're watching Ricky. He's up top here, getting grenades everywhere. He saw players going to push it left into fire. He's in a good spot. When you get on the mid-opposing side of the map, you can pick up some easy kills as players try to filter out here, not able to pick up the second Fwiz.
That was close. That was close. As we jump on board with the Embos, you've got Nation here only about 9 points away from taking the lead. They've had great control on B. Jumping on now with Envious in the eyes of Merc here. He's got a player in front of him. He's not going to be able to get that kill. As he gets taken out, we switch over to JCap, who does pick up Ricky there, and now Envy's going to try to make a cap here. JCap solo capping, so he's going to have to win this gunfight. He knows someone there at green, gets taken out.
And this is close. What is it? It's down to 6 now. OpTic Nation climbing back in this one, but B is neutral. So for right now, this works out for Envy. Time is on their side. Points are on their side. They don't need to get in a situation where they're going to lose 2 or 3 on B. They can play it a bit slower. The pressure is on OpTic Nation. We'll watch Ricky right now. He's left side white. Did he see that player? Third story. Looks like he was trying to check. He might have got eyes on him. Trying to look for that. He's going to get pushed here. Lose that gunfight. 3 down right now. Bose is last alive. I'm going to watch and see. It's up to him. He's going to have to get big kills. He will drop. We should see a flip here. Yes, it is going to be B control to Envy.
And nice shooting there as he was able to pick up some critical kills. Switching on with Nameless, who's up here on red 3, trying to get some shots in, not able to connect. But again, holding it down. They've got control of B now, 1 minute and 35 seconds left. They can just make sure they play smart. They don't have to get too aggressive here, just holding off OpTic Nation's pushes. You got somebody over there on the cargo. He's able to pick up that kill. And now Nameless just making work there. But I will say Formal picked up 2 of his own in the bottom of the kill feed, if you saw that. Nameless continuing to do work. He's running low on ammo as he's going to have to pull out that Vector. And they've got a good setup. I mean, like, they got to feel pretty comfortable here. Nameless is getting kills. You can see OpTic. That was huge.
His lit
right
bows
there.
up there. He gets wall banged ultimately. We talked about at the beginning here that Envy, when they're firing all cylinders, that's when they play their best. And look across the board.
Yes,
no one
exactly.
really behind. I mean, they all are pretty much putting up similar numbers. Nameless and Merc, the ones getting it done on the objective side. 3 down right now for OpTic Nation. The 3 cap is on. It's over. That's going to bury it for them. Not even really going to be enough time on the clock here soon for an OpTic Nation 3 cap to come back. And that this is one that it was about a 20-point lead there for Envy for a long time. OpTic Nation finally climbed back in on it, but when it came
they
down
had a good run in that second. Nation did in that second half, but yeah, I mean, what was it? I think we were looking at like an 8-point difference when the B was neutral, with a minute and some change on the clock, and Envy ended up just taking control of it. So OpTic Nation, valiant effort there in the second half, but I mean, Envy, look at that. Everybody pretty much shooting 24 and above. You'll take that any day. And it makes for your team that no one has to go above 30 to get the slaying job done because everyone's winning their gunfights. Then you've got Merc and Nameless who were able to get the critical caps when they needed to for a team. It allowed JCap and Formal kind of run around, do their thing, and get kills. Perfectly executed by Envy. They're going to take game number 1. That was pretty much the general consensus. Everyone felt that they were going to be able to take that one. So all smiles and high fives coming out of the Envy camp.
Well, we talk about you know, in prior Call of Duties, you know, you always had that kind of objective role. There isn't so much an objective player in Ghost. It is much more of a run and gun game. That's why TP saw so much success, because TP could probably start as a Slayer on most squads.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's the best objective player in the game because he is such a potent Slayer on top of his objective work.
You can't really in Ghost have your quote-unquote objectives
True.
go -10, -20. Killa in that one was the one that kind of lagged a little bit behind. You know, you saw kind of an even result across the boards for Envy. Same with the rest of the team for OpTic Nation. Killa, though,
he went 18 and 30.
Had a bit of a rough one.
Yeah,
he lagged a bit behind, and when you have that result against a team that is as talented as Envy, it's really tough to keep up. But the next game is going to be S&D Warhawk. This is the one we said previously.
Nation.
Owen has to win this game, or it may get ugly quickly. We are going to go to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Tweet the stream. Tell your friends. Tell your family. It's getting crazy.